rotation. I don't know if you guys saw today. They sent down Nick Pivetta and brought up Jared Eichhoff.
Eichhoff had 4 strong innings last night for us to end that game.
Yes, he did.
It's a good decision. Listen, Pivetta was, God, he's so inconsistent. We got an update already. Chris.
Full count.
Full count. All right.
3-2, bases low. Oh, God.
How many outs?
Man.
2 outs.
2 outs.
Oh, it's getting
trying to take 2 out of 3 before we get on the plane to Colorado tomorrow.
Come on, Hector.
So, listen, Nick Pivetta, we've all seen it since the beginning of the season, just been so inconsistent. And another thing, his pitch count rose so high last night. He got spotted an 8 to 10 run lead after the first inning, and he throws 100 pitches in 5 innings. A guy like that, he needs to go at least 7. He just needs to go at least 7 innings.
Yes.
We got an update. Go.
Sorry. Game's over. Phil's win 3-2.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Sorry.
Hector Neris, he's dodging out of trouble. I heard he got into a little bit of a jam there.
Oh, yeah.
The bases loaded jam.
He hit Wilson Ramos to load the bases.
Yeah.
Gave up an infield single to get the Mets close, but he got out of it.
All right. That's 2 out of 3. We head to Colorado tomorrow to start a 4-game series. What is that, Eflin tomorrow?
Let me check real quick.
I believe it's Zach Eflin.
Colorado has been very cold as of the beginning of this season. I believe last I checked they were 4-12.
Yes.
So if that's a team that's struggling, I certainly want to take a bite out of them.
Right. They're always that ballpark's tough though. Playing in Coors Field.
Yes, Colorado is Zach Eflin.
Zach Eflin tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay. And he got lit up his last start against Miami.
But I still think the whole thing that I'm still worried about is the pitching because. Me, myself, Max, Tanner, we went to the game on Monday.
You're so cool.
the college Phillies series. But we started counting Aaron Nola's pitching count, in the 4th inning?
Yeah.
3rd or 4th, yeah.
And he was up to 80-plus pitches. That's still concerning. Nick Pivetta throwing on 100-plus pitches in 5 innings, you guys said? It's still too much. The pitch count is just way too high. I don't know what's going on with these guys.
Listen, after that first start, I thought it was just a bump in the road for him. Everybody has that bad start. But again, you look around the league, there's guys like Chris Sale hasn't had the best start to the season. Syndergaard, who pitched against Nola Monday night when we were there, he's had a rough start to the season. So I don't know if it's the weather having a factor on these guys, if they're just missing their location. But Nola, we all know he has the stuff. His velocity's not down or anything.
No.
He's not hurt. He's just not locating his pitches. Kind of how Zach Eflin in his last start, he didn't locate either, and you saw what happened to him. So, he just needs to figure it out. I'm not worried again. The thing I was concerned about was injury, but I'm thinking more. We were there Monday. It was the coldest game I've ever been to.
Oh my goodness!
Matter of fact, on Monday, Chris, these 2 guys wanted to leave bottom of the 1st inning.
We were in
a baseball game. Bottom of the 1st inning. These guys
it was
I'm
very
ashamed
cold.
of
People
you guys.
weren't even sitting down yet.
Suits? How many layers did you have on?
Tanner was the only one who was actually prepared.
I
Tanner's the
had a
only
button-down
fan
shirt and a blazer on, and I'll be the first one to say I would have ran out of there in the 1st inning. However, I'm glad we stayed a little bit longer because we ended up having a good time down there.
Yeah, we did.
I would hope
Had some
so.
solid seats.
Absolutely. Got to pick up this swag hat. So,
there you go.
If you don't want to be there, I'll go.
Unfortunately, the outcome wasn't what we wanted, but we still enjoyed the time.
No, but how about Edwin Diaz in that? I know we dipped out of there a little early, but I know Edwin Diaz struck out our heart of the order. He struck out Harper, Hoskins, and Realmuto.
Yeah.
So he really finished us off. But again, taking 2 out of 3 today was great.
Yes,
hopefully we can continue our momentum tomorrow in Colorado. And just keep winning series, man. We're not going to win all these games. We're not going to win them all.
We're not.
I like to see Eichhoff. I know we saw glimpses of him last year, especially towards the end of the season. He got healthy and made that last start, had a good start to the end of last year, and now in spring training, he had a good spring training. Hopefully he can't get much worse than Nick Pivetta, so hopefully he can step in here as a number 5. I know Velasquez could be the number 5, but either way, I just need some consistency. We all hope they have consistent pitching.
That's another guy who had a really good outing last time. Vince Velasquez. He gave up that homer, but he went through 5. Was it? Yeah, 5
no-hit innings.
No-hit inning. Yeah. And now that was the game, I believe, where it went 14 innings, and the whole pitching staff in total got 17 Ks.
Yeah.
That was and by the way, my boy Arano, 6 Ks in a row.
Hector Arano.
I was like,
He's
that
been great.
made me feel good.
No, he's been really great for us.
You got a man crush over there,
I
Chris?
do, because he was the only guy out of the bullpen last year, other than Sir Anthony, that I felt comfortable with.
Eddie Ramos was okay last year.
Yeah.
I know he this year obviously he's not been great.
Victor, of the guys in the bullpen, Victor Arano is my favorite guy. Definitely. Now, what do you guys think about my boy Scott Dingery? Scott Dingery.
Man.
Scott Dingery.
Say it one more time.
Scott Dingery.
Seriously?
He's been hot, man.
Yeah, he has.
He's been hot. Another homer today, right?
3-run homer last night. Solo bomb today. Dude, man, if he keeps hitting the ball like that, I mean, even though Cesar got a homer today, Cesar might need to sit a little more often.
Listen, I think I agree with you 100%. The way Kingery's swinging the bat right now, I know Cesar's a switch hitter.
Now, I know that's a very rash take.
And you know what Gabe Kapler's doing?
But it's not extreme.
No.
Gabe Kapler's putting Scott wherever he's filling in for. So Segura hits second, usually in the lineup. Kingery fills in for Segura today, and he hit second in the lineup after hitting 6th or 7th last night. So I think, listen, coming into the season, he went through a couple games there. It was 3-4 games where he didn't see any playing time. He steps right in, and he's been hot since then. And you can see he can hit kind of anywhere in the order after the last couple games. So hopefully he can keep it up. And I'll admit, after last season, I wasn't high on him coming into this year. But from the start, what we've seen, he's been excellent for us.
Sorry.
No, why not? No, keep going with the hot hand. I never liked, benching guys who, in favor of somebody who you officially started the season with. I never believed in that. Go with the hot guy. I don't care who it is. That's why, as much as you guys fuss with me about, Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, I still probably would still went with Nick Foles because he was the hot hand. But back to baseball, just stick with the hot hand.
Yeah.
Scott Kingery's hot. He's hitting the ball well.
And he certainly got rewarded today. I didn't realize this. He was hitting in the tool hall.
Yeah, it plays at Gene Segura. Hopefully Gene Segura doesn't have to go on the injured list, but just a tight hamstring pull last night. But it's good. I mean, listen, Reese was banged up there. We saw that for a little bit. That game he missed with the ankle injury, and now with Segura's now he's hurt. So it's glad we have some bench pieces to be able to step in there and fill out the lineup for us.
Yep. Did they bring up a guy today?
Yeah,
infielder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, Ryan Gosselin, I think, or not Ryan Gosselin.
Wow. His name's Phil.
Phil? Was it? Is it Phil?
Phil Gosselin.
Ryan Gosselin. That's embarrassing.
Nah, just
Yesterday
What is going on back there?
Yesterday was a little bit of a weird lineup with Hoskins out, and we had Andrew McCutcheon starting, obviously. And then Gene was in the second spot, but then he was pulled out hamstring injury wise.
Yeah, last night he got injured.
After that, we had Andrew Knapp playing first base.
Yeah.
So and
listen, Andrew Knapp can barely
Franco
catch.
started playing first base, and then after that they had to spread it out.
They made some defensive changes in there.
And Altair played center. I'm sure
did.
you were a big fan of that.
I don't know. We scored 14 runs and he went 0 for 5. So, yeah. It's hard to do that. You think, oh, maybe he got a hit. Nope.
what in the world?
This is us thinking about Scott Kingery.
That's exactly what the sentiment
About
was.
to be professional.
Yeah, well.
Oh, was that UT?
Yeah, that might have been my bad.
Oh.
I had a blog up. I'm sorry.
We were in the head. You were in our heads thinking about how great Scott Kingery is.
Yeah, that was a beautiful moment we just shared together.
Just wait. Future leadoff guy, Scott Kingery.
Wow. Maybe.
Really?
I don't know. The way our lineup is right now, I don't mess with it. But, man, I don't have no problem.
No. Yeah, I agree with you.
Can I be honest right now? I don't think these Phillies are too consistent right now.
No, they are not.
Right now, I'm still not impressed with. I mean, these guys are so talented in the way they've been playing. On the 13th, we lost to the Marlins 10-3.
Yeah, Zach Eflin.
That was the Eflin game.
That was the
last
Eflin
game where he got let off.
Eflin game. So, I don't know.
I think the Marlins aren't as weak as we expected. I think they got some talent, not like division winning talent, but they got a little bit of talent and they got some arms, some young arms. So I think we maybe underestimated the Marlins coming in, but yeah, I agree. There's no excuse for that. Zach Eflin, especially the way he was pitching to begin the season, he had those 2 dominant starts and then goes to Miami. You're thinking, wow, it can't get any easier for Zach Eflin, and all of a sudden he gets lit up. So hopefully he can bounce back tomorrow.
And then there's games like yesterday. What was the final score?
14-3.
14-3, where the Mets pitcher couldn't even get out of the first inning.
Couldn't even
record an out.
10 runs in the first inning. Like
JT and Dingery were just going off, man.
And
Franco too. Franco's been
Franco,
hot.
our
Franco
big guy
as well.
Franco. Yep.
But the problem is we can't expect that day in and day out. This pitching has to.
That
The
was your big
upper
point.
management has to do something about this pitching. We cannot rely on, going out and scoring 7+ runs each game. It's just not gonna happen.
A report came out today that us and the Mets are interested in Mike Minor from the Texas Rangers. He's been hot to start the season. He has like an ERA at 2.60. He battled injuries his whole career, but again, he's a lefty too, so a lefty to come in the rotation for us. Again, and back to the Pivetta thing getting sent down. You wouldn't expect that. But if this was last year, there's no way Pivetta would get sent down. They would try to let him work out, his mechanics or stuff like that.
Right.
But this move shows there's no like leeway here. If you're not pitching well and you're not being consistent, then you're gonna get sent down.
All right, as many hitters as we have, I mean, this is a stacked team, hitting wise. So yes, they're not playing around no more.
Nope.
This is not a rebuilding year. This is a year that we're going to compete. If you're not going to bring your stuff, then guess what? See ya.
Yeah. If there's reports going around that Kimbrel's close to signing to it with a team, there's no specifics out yet. But I mean, if we got Kimbrel, I mean, I'm sure none of us would be free. None of us that wouldn't be a bad move, in my opinion. No. None of us would hate that. But I think what we need right now, for the most part, is a starter. And I think that in the minor leagues, like Drew Anderson, he got called up. He had a great spring training, and he got called up the other night when we were there, threw 3 pitches and got 3 outs, and then got sent down the next day. So I don't know if that was just because we needed innings out of our out of our bullpen, or because I think he's a starter in the minor leagues. So if he were to come up, there's guys out there, and I think that was another thing too. There's guys like Ranger Suarez in the minor leagues, and Eichhoff was down there too. That these at back end of the rotation guys like Pivetta or Velasquez, if they were to struggle, there's guys waiting to take their spots.
All right.
This would. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm just. It just came to my mind. If Boston keeps struggling this year, they're 6-12, and they're looking to offload and maybe a guy you look at, maybe David Price. That's a bit risky. He signed that huge deal a couple of years ago.
How old is he? He's got to be like 34, 35 at this. No, maybe not 35.
He's 33 right now.
33. If that was
he's in the middle of his 4th year. So if we were to take him on,
it's a lot of money.
He would have 3 more years. Yeah, that's a lot of money. It's a risky deal, but that is a guy I feel like they're not going to ask. They will have a decent asking price,
right,
but not as much as like a Madison Bumgarner.
Right. I agree, because Bumgarner's so much younger.
Oh, yeah.
The whole thing, the knock on Price his whole career has been how is he pitching in the postseason.
Yeah.
And even last year, I think he struggled in the beginning of the postseason. I don't know how. I think he didn't finish poorly.
That small stint with the Blue Jays, he really impressed me there.
Oh,
now
yeah.
that was also just you could maybe just say that's a hot couple months he had.
Yeah.
But he's always been, and I feel like it's a little rude to call him an above average pitcher. But
no, he's been an ace at one
most.
point. I think another thing that's a possibility is a reunion with Cole Hamels. The Cubs, they started out slow, and if they're looking to cut salary, a reunion with Cole, they were talking about that last year too.
They were talking about trading for Cole.
Come home,
last
Cole.
year.
Possibility.
Come home, Cole.
I know everyone's talking about how we need to improve the bullpen, but I think position-wise, I would like to still improve behind the plate, catcher-wise. I know we got JT, but Andrew Knapp, I'm not really comfortable
What do you
with the
think?
way
Is
he's
just
playing.
anybody in the minor leagues for us? I don't know.
Your hatred for Aaron Altherr is the same hatred I share for Andrew Knapp.
Knapp.
That man should not be wearing a Phillies uniform.
No, I agree with you.
He
I agree 100%.
went 0 for 5 in the game against the Marlins where we went into extra innings, and he stranded 5 men on base. And they kept putting him in.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
Yeah, I think at this point now, the Kapler and the guys might just be thinking, we got so much talent up and down our lineup. If we want to have a guy like Knapp in there once in a while,
right.
I mean, they're not expecting anything of him, but I mean, he I guess in their opinion,
he's
he gets
not stopping any balls back there too.
That's a good point.
yeah.
That's the one thing I'm like concerned about. I mean, he's literally in there to just have a good, just play good. If you're not going to hit, play good defense.
Right. Got to keep that ball in front of you, but he's just not doing that.
He can't do that either. I was a big fan of Drew Butera out of spring training. I know he was a lot older. I think he was like 30. He's 35. But I mean, I wasn't expecting out of your catcher unless we have guys like JT Realmuto and like a catcher.
Right.
You're not expecting anything much offensively unless you have one of the top 5 in the game. But I mean, I agree with you. If we were to get an upgrade defensively, because that was one of our struggles last year, where we had so many errors, and he hasn't helped us from that standpoint this year. So yeah, I agree. If there's any option, I'm telling you, any other option, even if I've never heard of the guy before, and he's got potential, I say bring him in. I'm telling you, I'm really being serious.
That's why I really like Wilson Ramos. Now I know we couldn't afford him, but
Yeah.
I like if you had Wilson Ramos on this team instead of trading for JT Realmuto, would you be upset?
I honestly,
I
wouldn't be that
I
upset.
liked,
No,
I
know
liked him when
I
he was
really
on the
liked-
team.
last year he was
I
really
really
good
like
for us.
Wilson
But
Ramos, but
He could flat out hit.
Oh, yeah.
Man, he could. The
Yeah.
only knock on him was he's so injury prone that he might not
Right.
be able to catch like back to back
He does.
days, day after night
Yeah.
game.
yeah, he does have glass bones.
Then we had to deal with Alfaro.
Yeah, we don't want him in on.
Yeah, no.
Oh, man.
I was fine with Alfaro.
Really?
He's a young guy.
I don't think he was much better than Andrew Knapp. if
He
we're
was
being
he
honest.
was a little bit better than Andrew Knapp.
behind the
A little
plate
bit.
wise.
Behind the plate, he didn't. Not the best blocker, but that guy, he can throw the ball down to second. and he has a much better bat than Andrew Knapp.
Yeah, he strikes out.
That's
a
not
lot.
saying a lot, though.
Yeah,
That's like saying he has a better bat than me.
Listen, when he hits the ball, it goes very far, but that rarely happens. He strikes out like close to half his at bat. So
You should have seen Max's reaction when they put Aaron Altera into the game.
yeah, and what happened?
On Monday.
What happened? Did he get a hit? Ooh, no, he did not get a hit.
he made contact.
He made contact. There you go. I guess that's what we hope for with him now. Just making contact.
You big dummy.
the only guy to hit a grand slam off Clayton Kershaw. Aaron Altera.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, I mean, sure, that might be the only thing, but that's still quite a feat.
It is a feat. Tell his grandkids that when he's old. He's gonna have no other stories to tell. So, all right, let's transition to some Sixers talk now. I want to get T. I know you had a story out with Brett Brown in the locker room situation.
This is interesting. I was reading up on this morning, and I just really found it interesting that this is coming out. After the series is tied at 1-1, and they have a game tomorrow night.
Yeah.
In Brooklyn, that it was a story from the New York Daily News, and it said that 76ers Brett Brown is heading for a coaching purgatory. Basically, to make a long story short, what this article is basically saying is that if Brett Brown doesn't get it together, then Brett Brown's out of here. If the Sixers get knocked out in this series, then he's out of here, which I think we all pretty much know that. Where if he goes to the second round and he loses, okay, he might still keep his job. But it was basically saying that, in other words, there's a lot of turmoil in the locker room.
Different
personalities clashing. Joel Embiid got into it with a staff member. And this is interesting timing of this coming out.
I agree. That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, what? I mean, we're in the middle of playoffs here. There's no time for distractions. We got to focus.
This is not the time for articles like this to come out. It's almost like the same thing with the Carson Wentz article. This is the wrong time for it to come out. This is a stupid time for it to come out, especially considering the fact that they didn't look like the same 76ers team that we expected in that first game.
Not at all.
And Ben Simmons is really the ire of my anger at this point.
Why do you say that?
Because I seen something, and I hate saying this. I was watching First Take, and I seen Stephen A. Smith, and he said something that I agree with. And he said that Ben Simmons is going to be the downfall of the 76ers in the playoffs. And that's not that far-fetched. Regular season, Ben Simmons is a monster. But his lack of a jump shot and his lack of a free throw shot hurts the 76ers down the line because all that spacing. Now, where's he going to pass the ball to? At times he's aggressive and at times he's not. At times he plays defense and at times he's not. And it also says in this article that there was a rumor going around that Elton Brand was actually trying to trade Ben Simmons because he called Ben Simmons uncoachable. Now, I don't get too much into articles. I don't get too much into rumors. But how much of this can you just, poo-poo? How much of this can you just really, push off to the side? Because how long Ben Simmons been playing now? This is what, his second season now?
Second full season.
So, and there's no development on his jump shot at all. So how far-fetched is that? I look at guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo, where he didn't have a jump shot, but he was very tall and he was very athletic. He played defense, but he worked on that jump shot. Now, I dare you guys to leave him open at the three-point line. And he's going to shoot it, and he's going to hit it.
Yeah.
That's the development I want to see. Every year, Giannis is working on something. Heck, there's rumor going around that LeBron James was trying to recruit him for Space Jam 2, which, by the way, is a bad idea. I hate that idea. Leave the classics alone.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a rant for another day. But back to the matter at hand, Giannis is so focused on his game, he doesn't want to do the movie. He's focused on the playoffs and he's focused on working on his game. That's the type of player I want in this city. If Ben Simmons isn't willing to work on his game, I don't want him. I don't care how much talent you have.
I agree with you 100%. I think when we're trying to structure this team, and he just, and I said this from the very beginning, I don't have a problem with Ben Simmons as a player.
No.
But you got to put him, he's a 6'10" point guard. Why don't move him to power forward? Why not move him to power forward? Does anybody have, I know not all the forwards these days, everybody has to shoot the basketball.
Right.
Unless you're a center. Even the centers these days shoot.
Correct.
But,
Maybe too much sometimes.
Yeah.
True. I've seen
Joel, that was for you.
Yeah.
Stop.
I've seen Simmons in the post, and he, besides Embiid, he's probably our best post player.
Yes.
He's got great moves, and he's got great vision with his passing. If he doesn't have a look to the basket, he can pass it out and get an open shot. I think if we put Simmons at a forward position, I know people are saying you want him at the point guard because he's got great vision and he's got great passing ability, but he doesn't have to be the facilitator. You can get a guy in there that can actually shoot the basketball.
Correct.
And help us out from a guard standpoint.
Especially since, J.J. Redick, while he is an excellent shooter, he's a liability on defense.
Yeah. I just don't think we're built for championship success at
not
this
yet.
point.
Not yet.
I just think our pieces. I think we have the talent. I just don't think the pieces are in the right positions right now.
To me personally, I feel like it's more drama now than basketball. This past week, especially with, first of all, we lost to the Nets, which was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
But it was more of a mental thing. I feel like the game we lost to the Nets, on the bench, players were on their phones.
Yeah, Amir Johnson.
They just weren't in it. Embiid and Amir Johnson were looking at phones, laughing. We were down at least 10 at that point, and they were looking at their phone. And then after the game, understandably so, the fans were booing the Sixers, and Ben Simmons had something to say about how these fans aren't really with them, and we're just upset. You guys just lost to the Nets.
Stay on that side. Stay on that side. What do you mean stay on that side? Dude, we spent our hard-earned money. Sometimes I've heard of fans even spending their last dime on these sports teams, supporting y'all. Are you kidding me? We have every right to boo. Especially if you're not going to put forth the effort that we put forth into going to the game and seeing you.
Yeah, I agree.
We're not booing because we hate you guys. We're booing because we know you can do better, and we want to see you do better.
It's like that parent that always gets on you because you bring home a bad grade. That parent doesn't punish you because they want to or because it's entertaining to them. That parent is punishing you because they know you can do better and they want to see you do better. That's the reason why we boo. We're passionate about what we do.
Listen, I'm sorry. I think going into the tour, especially towards the end of the season, we all sit through those 82 games, and we have to turn it up for the play. I remember last year it was so different. We just had so much momentum going into the postseason, that 16-game winning streak, and everybody was just having a great time. Everybody was on the same page. There wasn't any like Jimmy Butler. I know how great of a player he is, but I just feel like everybody knew their role in the team. What I mean? I think we were so together last year, and that's what helped us. Now with this year's team, I just think Butler's not happy. I just think Embiid and no one's happy. I just think we can't get on the same page. Tobias is a good player. He kind of just does his thing.
Right.
He's not really outspoken that much, but he hasn't been playing his best, especially that first game. And a guy with his talent just has to do more.
And it was one of my concerns going into the postseason was the simple fact that they only played together 20, 25 games.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of time to really build a chemistry, a camaraderie, if you will. It's just not. There's not a lot of time.
There's no consistency. I mean, how many, Jimmy Butler dropped? How many points did he drop in game 1?
And 36.
He was
how
going
many
off.
he put in game 2? I mean, I think he only had maybe 10 points.
I think he had 7.
It's an outrage.
So there's no he had 7 points in game 2. So what happened there? Do we just go to different games? Right. You take more shots than this guy. Oh, next game you'll take more.
The inconsistency is ridiculous.
There's no I'll take the shot whenever I want to take the shot.
And I feel like these guys are sorry to interrupt, but I feel like these guys are kind of competing for the spotlight because so many stars on one team gets dangerous. We've seen that with LeBron's team last year, where everyone had to go, but they're competing against each other almost. Except for competing against the other team.
Listen, I always go back to just play to your strengths. You have a 7-2 center. Run plays for him. Why is he standing on perimeter? I know he can shoot. I know he wants to shoot it, and that's a mismatch for other teams.
You can say that Joel Embiid is probably the most dominant center in the NBA. Do I have any arguments?
No.
So, that being said, run the offense through with Joel Embiid. Put him in the post.
And even if he doesn't get the touch, he's down the rebound. He's taller than everybody else on the floor. You know what I mean?
And even if they double team him down there, guess what? He can pass it out. He's not that shabby of a passer.
Listen, at this point, we're not switching positions here. I mean, the guys are going to stay where they're going to stay, and they're going to play the way they have been. I mean, I'm talking Simmons at the 4, maybe in the future, because he's one of those guys where I don't want him. He's too talented. I don't want to just have him walk, and I don't want him to be unhappy here because he's too talented of a player. Just be like, oh, we don't need you because you can't shoot. I mean, he could still do so many things well.
And I totally agree with you. I 110% agree with you. But I'm also a person who doesn't necessarily believe in potential. I believe in your work ethic. I believe in you developing some more skill. Okay, yes, you came into the NBA as an athletic freak. Yes, you can get to the paint at will when you feel like it. The problem is you don't get to it when we need you to it.
Right.
And then on top of that, teams are disrespecting you because of your lack of a jump shot.
Right.
At the end of the day, I don't care if you rim it out. I don't care if it's an air ball. Present the threat. It's the threat.
You never know what a ball's going to bounce,
Yes.
especially for those 3-point shots. The strength part of these things, like Jimmy Butler's one of the best one-on-one players I've ever seen. I never see him be like, unless it's towards the end of the game where it's a game-winning shot, where they just clear out for him and let him create for himself. You know what I mean? Just let these guys play to their strengths.
Yes.
They kind of just come and run this motion offense. Put the guys in position. Like, if Ben Simmons in transition, he's one of the most unstoppable guys. He's like LeBron running down the court. Like, no one's going to step in front of him. Get him out in transition. Get that rebound and fling that thing out to him on the run and let him play to his strengths. When he comes down in that set offense, he immediately, like,
He
obviously,
freezes up.
Exactly. He freezes up. He passes the ball. The only time you see him maybe late in the shot clock or he's just let me attack to the basket because I'm not going to shoot.
Right.
Let him get out in transition and run. Let Butler go one-on-one. He set a screen for him. Set
Tobias a screen.
Set double screens for Redick. Don't just come up and be set a lazy screen, you know?
Right.
Run plays to set him, and that goes back to Brett Brown with the coaching standpoint. Set JJ doubles. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. And I just feel like, I know he's not going to help you defensively, but he's one of the best shooters in the league. Get him open, hit double screens, and get him those open 3-pointers. I feel like he tries so hard to get open offensively, cutting through the lane and coming off those screens. I just feel like I just feel like JJ Redick is just, he has to get open off of those screens, and I think he loses energy running that motion offense and cutting and coming off. I mean, because by that time, if he doesn't get a shot off, he has to run back immediately, play defense, and the guy he's always against is always going to be bigger and more physical than him, because he's not the biggest guy in stature. Especially the guards these days are huge and so athletic. I just feel like that's why we've had to go to our bench, and when we have to go to our bench,
that's when we really get in trouble.
That's when we're in serious trouble.
And I've been probably one of the more, one of the few guys who've actually defended Brett Brown. But the more I watch this team, the less I can defend him. I'm struggling at this point because, like you said, it's different things that you can be doing, and you're not doing it. I just feel like they're doing the same thing and hoping for a different result.
Yeah.
And that's insanity.
I think you just got to keep it simple. You know D'Angelo Russell's the best player on the Nets. If he's starting to get hot, just double team the guy.
Yes.
Leave somebody open in the corner. If they hit the shot, okay. Let them open again. If he hits a shot, okay, then you got to adjust to that. But if you leave one of their worst, they don't have that many talented players on that team.
No.
Leave a guy who's like the 5th best player on that court
Leave
for them.
him alone.
Leave him alone. If he's going to shoot the 3, then shoot the 3 and take it. But you got to get the ball, especially in game 1, or especially toward how hot D'Angelo Russell's been towards the end of the season. If he's going to get hot, then you got to adjust to that. You can't just let guys go one-on-one.
And I said that before the series even began. I said the Nets should not be a team everybody should overlook because
They're
of
a good
D'Angelo
team.
Russell.
Yeah,
D'Angelo Russell, D'Angelo Russell, and for some reason, Spencer Dinwiddie, we cannot stop Spencer Dinwiddie. But D'Angelo Russell, when he gets hot, he is hot. There is no stopping him.
Right. From what I know, now we're not NBA coaches or anything, obviously,
No.
but from what we see and watch on TV, I mean, it doesn't seem that difficult. You just have to play to your strengths, have to keep it simple on offense and defense. I mean, that's how you win. You want to win a championship or not. And Cousins is hurt now with the Warriors. There's a bunch of question marks with him. I just feel with the Warriors. I just feel like now, I know that they still have Durant, they still have Steph. But now it's so wide open now with taking that center out.
Yes.
Because when we played the Warriors in Golden State earlier in the season, and we won that game, we just looked like we were so cohesive. And now with Cousins out, I think it's a little bit more wide open.
Because with when they acquired DeMarcus Cousins and DeMarcus Cousins came off of that injury, listen, DeMarcus Cousins was basically he was their shield, basically. Like he was the one thing that, kept them. He was the one thing that kept the Warriors together. And now with DeMarcus Cousins being out, the Warriors are wide open now. Because now their paint is wide open. They don't have nobody in the paint to really stop them.
Yeah.
So, listen, now the Warriors are weak. This is not the time for the Sixers to be playing around. If the Sixers are the team that, everybody expects to go to the finals, they need to start playing better. Because now, I think it's not even up for debate who's going to come out of the West. You're going to go against the Warriors, period, point blank. This is not the time to relax. Yeah. This is not the time for drama like this to be coming out.
I just feel like this is all for us to just let our frustration out. The way we've been playing, all the locker room stuff that's going on, and the things coming out. And I wasn't really surprised when I heard
pissed off.
I wasn't really surprised when I heard that because I just feel like this. I think this whole thing goes back to Butler. Butler came here. I just feel like his personality is he wants to be the guy, and I get that. I understand how talented he is, but we need. If we want to go far, and I don't have to watch this whole season, because coming into this season, we had the same exact team, right? And we're like, oh, man, we're probably not going to go that far this year. Then we get Butler. And it's like, okay, but that still doesn't put us towards a championship contender. And then we go out and get Harris. I just feel like we need this season. I don't want it just to end. I just don't want it to end on a note where it's just like we're not all on the same page, we're not all together, and have, after the season over, have Jimmy walk, have Tobias walk, and then where are we,
Right. I don't want to see Jimmy walk. But the more and more I see this team play, the more I feel like he is going to walk. And we're going to have to replace Jimmy.
Yeah, there's no more Covington. There's no more Sarge.
Right. Now you gave away those pieces. So now what are you going to do to replace that talent?
And the bench, again. The bench is a concern, too.
The bench has always been a concern for me, especially when you did get rid of Covington and Sarge. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the trade. I like the trade.
Cool, we won't be where we are without them today.
Correct. Yeah. But
I'll tell you what, though. Say we never did the Jimmy trade.
Listen,
right? Say we still had Sarge and Covington on this team plus Tobias, and we have like one of those guys come off the bench. We're in a much better position, in my opinion.
That is true. That is something to think about. But
we are where we are now, though.
Yeah, we are where we are, and hindsight is 20/20. We can't look back. It is what it is. Yeah. Do I think we are going to pull it off against the Nets in this series? Yes, I do ultimately think that we will, but we've got to get it together if we're going to beat the Torontos, the Milwaukees. We're not capable of beating those teams right now. The Celtics, they can smoke us again.
Right. And listen, every team goes through struggles. I mean, the Warriors lost to the Clippers. They blew a 31-point lead. So it's really mental is what you got to think about and how you recover from those losses.
Yeah, I think, and the whole thing with Brett Brown, he went in the locker room and lit a fire under us, and we came out and scored 145 points. So we know we're capable. When we want to turn it on, we have the talent on that, especially in that starting five, to get the job done.
It takes a coach to cuss you out.
I just feel like after all these trades were made, we were just so excited. Like, we can be a contender for this championship this year and go far. I'm not saying win the whole thing, but I'm saying, like, okay, if this thing ends in the first round, even the second round, it's just like, I just feel like I wasted that whole season.
Yeah, on paper, we look good. And that's the difference. It's one thing to look good on paper, but players still got to play the game.
Yeah.
Paper, everybody looks good on paper. Absolutely. Everybody looks like a beast. Mm-hmm. It's when you actually get in the game and play against that team. Sure. I mean, look at Miami when they lost to the Spurs. And everybody had Miami. Everybody had
Miami winning that. Yep.
They look good on paper.
Yeah, and then they ran into guys like Duncan, Ginobili, Parker. Those guys. Danny Green was great. Kawhi was great. And I agree 100% with you. I just really hope that we can get this thing rolling and not have it end in the first round or the second round, because that would just be a failure in my opinion.
It would. It would be an ultimate failure, especially when you lose to the Nets, a team that you're expected to win against, and a team that you can win against.
100%.
Now I'm going to bring up something. Maybe you guys have opinions about this, but how would you feel if Jay Wright became the Sixers head coach? After this season, it didn't work out with Brett Brown. We got rid of him, and Jay Wright wanted to coach for the Sixers.
I think
you go with Jay Wright another NBA coach?
I don't want these guys to walk. I want to have success this season, and I think if we don't get far this season, I think obviously Brett Brown I don't think is the guy right now, but you're not going to fire your coach in the middle of the playoffs.
No.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely
I think these guys are going to walk if we don't go far, and I still think they might. Yeah, especially Butler. I just think Butler's unhappy.
Yeah,
he wants to go somewhere.
Yeah.
I would think he wants to be the guy somewhere else. But to your question, I would 110% would love Jay Wright. You got the 2 national championships, respected, especially in Philly. He's like a legend now in Philly. And he's a great coach. He's a great guy. He works well with the players. I think it would be a great fit.
And me personally, I've always valued college basketball coaches more than I do NBA coaches. The reason
because they get more personal with you. They get on the personal level.
Not only that, but also look at it from a schematic standpoint of view. NBA coaches, you're working with the same talent just about every year. With college, you're working with different guys.
Constant adjustment.
It's a constant adjustment. You're constantly changing things up. You're constantly having to change up, who plays what, how many minutes, things like that. And I think that's why I wouldn't mind Jay Wright coming here.
Yeah.
Because we've seen how he can change the dynamic of an offense.
Yeah.
Now, yes, Granted, Nova didn't go very far this year in the tournament.
But they did lose like four or five starters from that team last year.
Correct. But they still went back and they were still competitive.
Yeah.
That's the most important part.
Yes.
Even with young guys, for the most part, taking up that squad.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
I think that's a great, and Tanner, that's a great point. I think if we were to come up with a coach, and Jay Wright for me would be high on that list if he was an opportunity, if he got the opportunity. I don't know. A lot of people are like college coaches in the NBA don't like that transition if you don't have any experience.
Right.
But at this point now, I just don't. I try to give him Brett Brown the benefit of the doubt. I continue to try to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's going to work out. We got the talent to do this. Just let him figure it out. I just think the guys don't listen to him. I just think they don't respond to him.
No.
They're just kind of like, oh, all right, like this guy's talking to us again. Like he's been here all year. He just won't shut up. I feel like, especially Butler and even Embiid and Simmons might be getting sick of it at this point. I mean, I just don't think he hit from a schematic standpoint and from an adjustment standpoint that he just doesn't make the. I mean, I'm sitting there in the crowd this season. I'm like, Jonathan Simmons can't play. Like he can't play, but he's out there, and I'm saying like 2 minutes go by, he's still out there. I'm like, Jonathan Simmons can't play, another turnover, and then eventually he'll get taken out of the game.
I guess my argument with that is who else you gonna put in there?
Anybody.
Who else?
Anybody.
That's
Anybody. It's my argument with Aaron Altera and Edge Rapp. Somebody in this world is better. Flat out.
I just want to say, I'm just sitting back. I'm just trying to take all this in and trying to look beyond the game. And what I mean by that is the people. And I think it's just purely a maturity thing as far as the stars of this team. I want Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid certainly has the talent to run a team. So does Ben Simmons. More so with Ben than Joel. I feel like there is an immaturity thing there. And I know it might be a cop-out answer. It might just be an easy answer. But that's what I feel like I'm seeing. And also the stuff with Jimmy. And all these butting heads. We didn't have this problem last year.
No. What do you think it is? Is Butler just like...
You think Butler's messing up the chemistry?
Wasn't there a whole thing earlier this year with Embiid and Butler were butting heads, but they eventually got over it? Do you think? I mean, it's a whole narrative thing, yeah. But if that is the case, I feel like that's what's happening right now again, just because it's the playoffs, tensions are high, and it's leading to, I don't want to say a potential collapse.
I think if Covington was a little bit better on the offensive end, he had stretches where he was supposed to be a 3-point shooter.
Yeah. Right.
And he just would go cold.
Yeah.
And he was so good on defense. But I just think if he was a better skilled all-around offensive player, Sarge for me was fine. I'm on Sarge like,
Sarge.
oh man,
Sarge,
he can play some defense. He can stretch that floor from the four, not like number 4 on the floor, and he can stretch it. I just think if Covington was a little bit more skilled offensively, we wouldn't be having this conversation with the whole Butler. I just think the way last season ended, I feel like we were like, you know what? Let's go out and just get star power and bring it in here. I just think the way looking back on this, even when the Butler trade went down, we were like, thank God, like we don't have the Covington and the Sarge again.
Right.
But we didn't really think in hindsight, like, man, in the
That
future this
bench.
might, the whole bench situation.
Correct.
And even the fact that how collective, like everybody loves Sarge, especially like everybody in the Philly area. Like he wasn't like any star or anything, but he was popular. Everybody loved the guy
Because he played hard.
Exactly. And I just feel like that may have messed up the chemistry and where we are today.
Yeah,
At the end of this road, it doesn't look good.
That's another thing. These guys are young, and these guys have friends, and we just look at them as athletes. And you just traded my best friend away. Now, then again, I'm paying you millions of dollars to play a game. I'm paying
Correct.
you millions of dollars to win.
And that's my mentality.
Now, I understand that's your mentality, but these are people.
You're
too.
right. You're absolutely correct.
And it's a whole. I think you said it earlier, Max. It was Tanner. A whole mind game. This is it's as big of a game. The mind game is as big as the physical game, and when your mind is not right, you will not perform.
I couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah.
I think, and that's great from a personal standpoint. The people, the person, how close they are.
Yeah.
They all kind of came in together. This whole thing started. Covington was like the lone guy who's been there his longest tenure, but they all kind of, when we got good and we all took that next step, they all kind of did it together.
Yeah.
And now it's broken apart, and now we got guys filling it. So I'm hoping we can turn it around. I know we scored 145 the other night. I'm hoping we can turn this around. Let's transition to some football talk now.
Doggone right.
Yeah.
There's some
Russell Wilson's contract extension, 140 mil.
Thank God.
That is the highest current contract in the NFL, if I'm not
Listen
mistaken.
to this. Every second he gets $1.10.
Every second?
Every second.
Seriously?
Every day, 95,890.
Dude, see, that's next level math you're not going to get anyplace else, people. I'm just saying. That's that Tanner knowledge right there.
The math whiz. Jeez. No, I'm happy for Russell Wilson. I do really like Russell Wilson, and I'm glad he's out there because I don't want to face him that much.
I really didn't think he was going back to Seattle. I thought he didn't want to play there anymore.
Honestly,
I thought he was going to New York.
That's what I honestly
a
thought.
team that I thought he was going to go to, the New York Giants.
Yeah.
Oh my
I was-
god!
Oh my
thinking-
gosh.
No.
If he would have came to the Giants and we had to face him 2 times a year, man,
With the Giants extending Shepard's contract.
oh my goodness.
But who's on defense for the Giants? They got Peppers.
I mean, all that is true, but that's still Russell Wilson, man. Like, he gives us fits every single time we face him.
Yes.
I don't understand it. And he gets us all the time with the zone read. That's the one thing I've never understood. And defensive end, stand your butt out there. Don't let anything to the outside, okay? That is your primary job on a zone read. Force everything to the inside.
Yep.
Let the defensive tackles clean it up.
I like the fact that he went back to Seattle. I kind of like watching him play in the Seattle uniform, and we don't see him a lot. Every other
Exactly.
year, or every 3 years.
Exactly what I'm
and
saying.
another thing, I still don't think they have nothing to be better than us.
No.
If he leaves, then Seattle's kind of taken out of the picture. But even at this point, that they still have him. I still think we have more talent than they do, so it doesn't scare me.
Man, and if Russell Wilson were to have left that team would have fell apart because he is the glue that holds that whole locker room
definitely.
together.
Yes.
Because there was again me with these narratives. There was all those things about the team is falling apart. Nobody,
Especially when all the defensive players left.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and how the locker room was falling apart, and it was Russell Wilson keeping them all together. And I'm happy for Russell Wilson. I'm happy for the Seahawks. And I'm just glad I don't have to see him that much.
Yeah, 100%.
Amen.
We also have some Juju and AB drama.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I'm a little outside of this. What happened?
It actually started. Antonio Brown happened to come across this was a fan, no professional saying this, but a fan calling Juju Smith-Schuster the most valuable player of 2018 Steelers.
Okay.
And Antonio commented, "Boy fumbled the whole postseason in the biggest game of the year. Everyone went blind, busy making guys famous. Not enough reality these days."
Oh boy.
Yeah, I seen that.
And
Listen,
then-
I heard Juju was trying to ask AB questions, especially when he first came into the league. Really,
Yeah, he
really
actually
respected
was.
him. He respected him a
Antonio
lot.
Brown actually posted a DM that Juju sent him. He said, "Listen, any pointers you have, I'm going into the draft this year. I really admire your playing skills."
This is back when Juju was at USC.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Dude, that's the most beautiful thing you could possibly do as a young athlete. And AB, I don't know what the heck is going on with him. I don't know who's in his head. I don't know what's going on in his head. What is he thinking?
Listen,
He's attacking Ben. He's
I know.
attacking Juju. What
these
is
are
the matter with
especially
him?
already-
Ben, especially who's been close to his whole career.
He's
Ben
already
Roethlis-
overstaying his stay
He
in
is.
Oakland, and he hasn't played a game yet.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger is the reason why you even have a doggone career. You're a 6th-round pick.
Exactly. And
Yeah, go ahead, Tanner.
Juju's really mature about this, and I personally don't think Antonio Brown is mature at all. He just wants money. He says he didn't even have to play.
Right.
It's just, but Juju's
a
really
maturity
taking this
thing.
in a mature
Listen,
way.
Pittsburgh's better off with Juju.
He says, "All I ever did was show that man love and respect for the moment I got into the league. I was generally happy with him when he got that big contract, and he takes shots on social media."
Yeah.
And then I hear AB is also taking shots, at other teams and other athletes as well. Listen, AB is going to face a linebacker in the middle of the field, and he is going to get smacked Vontaze Burfict style. And I hate saying that. I don't mean to laugh at that, and I don't mean to make a joke about that because that's not funny. But if he keeps running off with the mouth, he is going to get smacked over the middle. Why? Because that's what us defensive players do. You run your mouth, you get smacked up. And that's period.
As a
point
matter of
blank.
fact, Juju actually stood up for Antonio when he got, I'm pretty sure it was perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, Juju.
When Juju
next
hit
play,
him.
yeah, and risked getting suspended.
Yeah.
He did get suspended.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I've never been a big AB fan. I know how talented he's been in the past, but I've never been a huge fan of him as a person. And I always thought he was talented, but a lot of people talk about him being the best receiver in the league, and I disagree with that. I think DeAndre Hopkins and Julio are better than him. But from this standpoint, he has, again, like Tanner said, he hasn't played a game in Oakland yet. And I just feel like every single little thing that he has an opinion about, he just has the wrong opinion about. He speaks his mind, and it's never in a positive way. You never see him having anything positive. If he has an opinion on something, it's always negative, and always tries to tell people how great AB is and how bad everybody else is.
Now he's already affected the team that hasn't played yet. These players that know they're going to be playing with him are scared to do anything around him or see anything, or they'll get called out on social media. It's already ruining how they play the game before they play the game.
What did I say about social media from Jump Street, especially when it comes to AB? I know, Chris, I think a couple episodes ago, you brought up, what I like a trade, here to the Eagles. And I'm like, no, because he's not worth the drama. I don't know. I hate social media. Just my personal opinion. I'm the rare young person that hates social media, but I use it to promote the show, and I use it to promote other things that I have going on. That's what I use it for. I don't use it to attack people. If I got a problem with somebody, I'm going to face them face to face.
Right.
What AB is doing is cowardly, and I hate that out of athletes, especially because you play in a violent sport. You play in a sport where somebody can punish you for saying something outlandish.
Yeah.
Why do you continue running off with your mouth?
Listen, once Derek Carr throws a bad pass in AB, you're going to see him all he wanted was that big contract. He didn't care where he went. Obviously, it wasn't going to be in Pittsburgh, but he's like, you know what, John Gruden out there in Oakland, okay, I'll take this massive contract. But Derek Carr, we all know how not good. Derek Carr is not that good of a quarterback.
No.
And I don't know how when that first pass is overthrown or out of bounds, it's short or not in a great spot.
The second he is not receiving balls from a potential Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you could argue that Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer. Yes.
The second he starts receiving balls from a quarterback that is not
nearly as talented as
he's going to take it all out on him, and all that's going to do is mess with his mind. It's a whole bad thing.
First, Oakland's just as a whole. Look at the situation as a whole. They have the whole stadium situation going out, the whole money. No one's really come out to see him play. I mean, when they're trying to get that new stadium, and they're first of all not that talented, to begin with. Now they have AB. I just think if you're a Raiders fan right now, you're just scratching your head.
That just listen, athletes, keep your mouth shut, please. I'm telling you this. I've never been an athlete. Came close, but listen. Just keep your mouth shut, especially if you're on offense. As a former defensive player, we love when y'all run your mouth, because the minute you come into our territory, you gonna feel this.
Yeah.
Whether you gonna get smacked up or I'm going to sit on your chest, either way, you are going to get this business. AB, please, I'm begging you, because I do think you're a great wide receiver. I don't know what's gotten into your head, but please shut up.
So who'd you play for?
I didn't go that far.
Oh, okay.
It's not the point.
All right.
The point is, you get smacked up at every level. It really don't matter.
All right, let's end the show on some Eagles talk. I just want to get this out here real quick.
Oh man! Now some of the schedule has started leaking out. The schedule officially doesn't come out until 8:00 tonight, but some of the schedule has been leaked out. It's rumored so far that we will face Washington week 1. And week 2, we're going to face Atlanta on Sunday Night Football.
Now, the game 1's at the Link.
Game 1 is going to be at the
Link.
Link.
And then the game 2 will be in Atlanta.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, we will face the Patriots have a bye in week 10 and then play the Eagles in week 11.
Where?
On November 17th.
I think it's at the Link.
Yes, that's going to be here.
Okay.
So the Patriots are going to play us here week 11, and we will host the Jets in week 5. And week 14, the Giants are going to face us on Monday Night Football here.
I just love getting to play the Bills, the Dolphins, the Jets. God, I love automatic wins.
Yeah, but
I love them.
Yeah, but the Patriots ain't exactly an automatic win. I'm just saying.
No.
Every
year we talk about, they're going to win this game. It never goes the way we expect it to.
And then you guys don't exactly have, in y'all opinion, y'all GOAT anymore. So,
Listen,
I'm just saying.
Not y'all GOAT, the GOAT.
His name's Tom Brady.
You see that Carson contract that's going to it could happen in the future? Could be 6 years, $150 million. $50 million of a guarantee.
That is crazy.
Zach Ertz was nice enough to restructure his contract.
Yeah, he was.
He was nice enough to restructure.
Yes, he was.
I'm fine with it if he can stay healthy. I'm fine with it if he can stay healthy.
I agree with that. I'm not mad at that statement.
Schedule. Back to talking about the schedule. I'm excited to see these revenge games that Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and even the Browns and the Giants if they play.
Browns.
Oh yeah, I
Browns and
agree.
Giants.
The different uniforms, different key players, especially
Right,
on their former teams. You know,
Yeah,
so.
teams will be looking very different this season.
Raiders, Pittsburgh.
I just can't wait to watch the first Browns game. All those new names, the
That's
gonna be-
OBJ.
Very
Yes.
excited to
That's
watch
gonna
the
be
Browns.
crazy.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be
agree.
fun to watch.
Man, Baker Mayfield with those two guys, Landry and Odell. Oh my
Man,
God.
I
And
know.
don't
I
forget
know,
about Kareem Hunt in the backfield.
And I know
when
some
he
of
gets
those-
back from that suspension.
and I know some of those fans that are still on cloud nine. I know they still doing this. I know. it.
Vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Hey man, sip on, brother, sip on.
I'll take a water. I gotta drive.
That's true. I got apple juice. I'm good.
Sorry, didn't mean to take the show from you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You guys are going back and forth because I agree with you 100%. Those Cleveland fans, they've been in dead last for how many years? Now they're finally going to get some great talent. And that first game at the Dog Pound.
Yes.
Does anyone have any vents? That's what I was going to ask.
Oh,
Or are we
man.
dropping that?
I think no. Whenever
Because I got one.
All right, go ahead.
Well, okay. You guys
We got
are
10 minutes
all
left. Go ahead.
going. You guys are all going to disagree with me. I'm going to make the argument about why I think hockey is the best sport.
Oh boy.
You lost me.
This year,
hear him out.
No, this year we just witnessed a team have the best tied with the best regular season of all time. That team just got swept yesterday.
The
in
Tampa Bay
playoffs.
Lightning.
The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Dude, and that team is that team is so talented. I'm not even
Nikita
kidding.
Kucherov,
Stamkos,
Stamkos, yeah.
Kucherov, Stamkos, Point, Palat. Dude, they do a bracket thing where that you can do with a bunch of people. I'm in two, one with 8 people, one with 20. The one with 8 people, everyone chose Tampa Bay to win. The one with 20, 19 people chose Tampa Bay.
And they had the highest the best record by far, right?
But they tied the best record regular season record all time, and how could you not? And they just got swept. So my point is that it's the most unpredictable sport. You have no clue what's going to happen.
I just love. I know the Flyers aren't in this year.
No.
I agree. I agree. What you're saying from your point,
Yeah.
I think that the play. Yeah, I think that the hockey playoffs, from what my opinion, are one of the most fun to watch. Just because you don't know.
Dude,
I mean,
you-
it's
no
the NBA
clue.
playoffs. I mean, I turned on the TV last night.
Yeah, that's true.
The
We know.
Magic are losing by 30. I mean, those early round games are so meaningless.
I mean, dude, that's the thing. It's almost predictable. It's almost predictable.
Yeah,
Whereas
I
with
like
hockey,
the Penguins just get swept too. I wasn't expecting
the
that.
Penguins just got swept. Freaking
That's
Sidney
what-
Crosby
yeah.
just got swept.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
thank
Islanders,
God.
and there's
That
some
sounds
good
so
teams
great.
coming on.
And as long as like if Boston loses, then I don't
It's
care who
about damn
wins.
time.
Because
Awesome.
if
Toronto's very good, and in the
Toronto's
West, I
great.
like the Blues. They're playing well. The
Blues.
Vegas is playing well.
Cup final's going to be Vegas. We're going to go Vegas Islanders.
You think
Oh
the
my
Islanders
God.
are playing well?
Dude,
Barry
I-
Trotz, wouldn't that be something? Barry Trotz
Dude,
leaves
Barry
Washington
Trotz
and then
leaves
goes to
Washington,
New York and then he
and
wins.
wins another cup.
That would be incredible. And what if they match up? Washington and New York they
Wash-
match up.
Can
they match up in the
conference finals?
Can they?
Yeah, if Washington would have to beat the Islanders. No, never mind. Don't
Listen,
worry about it.
when the Flyers are playing well and they're in the playoffs,
No,
I'll
that-
sit down and I watch. I mean, it's for me, it's so fun. And for me, being a sport guy in general, and even watching when the Flyers aren't playing, it's
Semifinals.
taken up a notch.
They,
Semifinals,
they,
okay?
they would meet in the semifinals.
Just the intensity gets taken up a notch, and you see that every minute of the game, they're out. The guys are going all out.
It's also the fastest sport.
You know what? I do have a rant. It's not sports related, but I do have a rant.
My stupidity.
No, for once it's not. For once, you say some real outlandish things.
We got something new in the life of T over here.
No, it's not nothing like that. It's just something that's starting to irritate me now. Listen, people, It's 50, 60 something degrees. Okay, I understand. Spring is basically here, and I know everybody's excited because we're getting warmer weather. But the warmer weather ain't here yet, people. Why am I still seeing y'all in shorts? Why are y'all in shorts already? What is the matter with you? I'm getting sick looking at you. As a matter of fact, I think there's somebody walking by right now with shorts on.
There it is.
I'm sick of this, man.
Hey,
What is the matter with y'all?
T, I think you need to cool off. I think you should put some shorts on.
No, I'm not putting
Hey,
those shorts on.
Turn up that AC in your car.
No.
All right. What?
No.
I don't know. You seem pretty heated right now.
I'm not. This is me being calm right now.
All right.
Right. All right.
All I'm saying is, it's not warm enough for y'all to start wearing shorts.
All right. All right.
All right. Well, maybe next show we'll have shorts on talking about the draft.
All right, people. Next week, a lot of NFL draft talk. We're just 8
next
days
week.
away.
That's gonna be
Where
great.
will
We got all of our
Kyler
opinions come
Murray
back.
go?
Where
About damn time.
Who will the
dog
Cardinals
on
take number 1 overall?
Oh,
That
man.
and more next week. Make sure you're back here, 4 to 5, Backstreet Sports. Peace.
I don't go nowhere else.
See ya.
No wait. Cut.